Everyone wants to be rich, but few learn how the rich actually think. The truth is uncomfortable. Most people are overeducated in survival and undertrained in creation. They work harder, but their minds still operate on the same frequency of scarcity, scrolling, comparing, complaining, while millionaires quietly build empires from thought. In 2025, the real currency isn't money. It's mental power. Napoleon Hill discovered this nearly a century ago. He interviewed the most powerful minds in history, Carnegie, Edison, Ford, and found that their wealth began long before the money ever arrived. It started with a decision to think differently. They understood that success is not inherited, it's programmed. And that programming still works if you have the courage to upgrade your mind for the modern age. This video isn't about motivation, it's about mental engineering. You'll learn how to control the invisible forces that shape your results, belief, emotion, focus, and momentum. By the end, you'll see that becoming a millionaire isn't about luck or timing, it's about mastering the operating system of your mind. Because in 2025, the wealth gap isn't financial. It's psychological. In 1937, Napoleon Hill warned that riches begin with a state of mind. Nearly a century later, that truth has only grown louder. Technology evolved, but mindset hasn't. People scroll for opportunities but never see them, because their mental lens is fogged by fear, doubt, and comparison. They want success instantly but reject the inner work required to hold it. Modern poverty isn't always financial, it's mental overload. We live in an age where attention is currency, and most people spend it recklessly. The wealthy don't just control money, they control focus. They know that every click, every thought, every conversation is either an investment or a debt to the mind. Thinking like a millionaire in 2025 isn't about saving pennies, it's about mastering mental leverage. It's realizing your brain is a business. What you feed it determines what it produces. Hill said, "The man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does." That principle hasn't aged, it's simply moved online. And it begins with one discipline, intentional thinking. Napoleon Hill taught that thoughts are things. In 2025, that truth is amplified 1,000 times. The average person consumes more information in a week than a 19th century scholar did in a year, yet feels more lost than ever. Why? Because the mind becomes what it eats. Most people feed their thoughts with junk content and expect premium results. Millionaires, on the other hand, curate their mental diet. They understand that what enters the mind repeatedly becomes belief, and belief drives action. That's why they filter their mental feed the same way investors filter portfolios: remove what drains, double down on what compounds. They limit gossip, clickbait, and negative voices. Instead, they consume books, mentors, and conversations that sharpen focus and expand perspective. If you want to think like a millionaire, audit your inputs. Replace noise with nourishment. Read Think and Grow Rich instead of endless tweets. Listen to podcasts that stretch your mindset, not your attention span. Hill called it autosuggestion, but today, it's called algorithm training, your brain's algorithm. Feed it right, and it will show you opportunities no one else can see. That's where the next evolution begins: belief engineering. Napoleon Hill called it the master key to riches. He understood that wealth is built twice, first in the mind, then in the world. But here's the catch: most people still operate on beliefs installed by parents, teachers, and society decades ago. They want millionaire results running on middle-class software. The subconscious doesn't argue, it just executes whatever code it's been given. Modern wealth thinkers don't just manage money, they debug their beliefs. They track internal dialogue like an engineer tracks system errors. When a thought says, "I'll never afford that," they don't accept it as truth, they rewrite it. Because they know that beliefs aren't walls, they're scripts. And any script can be rewritten through awareness, repetition, and emotional intensity. To start, question every financial belief you inherited. Who said wealth requires suffering? Who taught you that money is scarce? Challenge those lines of code and replace them with new programming: money flows to me through value, service, and creativity. Hill would call that autosuggestion. Today, it's neural reprogramming. Once belief changes, perception expands, and that expansion unlocks opportunity recognition, the next step in the millionaire mindset. Napoleon Hill believed opportunity hides in plain sight. Every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. The difference between rich and poor minds isn't luck, it's perception. The average person sees problems and retreats. The wealthy see problems and ask, where's the leverage? Opportunity is never absent, it's just invisible to the untrained eye. In 2025, opportunities multiply daily: new markets, AI tools, digital platforms, social shifts. Yet, most people feel stuck. Why? Because they've trained their minds to spot risk, not reward. They scroll past ideas that could change their lives because their subconscious whispers, it's too late. Too hard. Too risky. That's not reality, it's conditioning. Millionaires learn to override that voice with curiosity. Start asking better questions. How can I use this, instead of can I do this? Train your brain to detect patterns of value. The next wealth revolution won't belong to those with the most capital, but to those with the sharpest perception. Hill called it organized intelligence. And once you learn to spot the hidden gold, the next step is transforming it into real power through focus and execution. Napoleon Hill said, "The world has the habit of making room for the man whose words and actions show that he knows where he is going." The difference between dreamers and achievers is focus. Everyone has ideas, only a few have direction. Millionaires don't chase everything, they commit to one path long enough for it to compound. Focus isn't limitation, it's precision. In 2025, distraction is the new poverty. People check their phones 200 times a day, trading attention for entertainment. Meanwhile, high achievers use attention like currency, investing it where results grow. Hill called this definiteness of purpose, the habit of acting with clarity and discipline. Without focus, even the best ideas rot in the drawer of procrastination. Execution means consistency, not perfection. It's writing one more page, sending one more proposal, learning one more skill, every single day. Millionaires aren't smarter, they're more consistent. They understand that success doesn't reward speed, it rewards endurance. And once action becomes a habit, something powerful happens next: momentum takes over, and energy compounds into mastery. Napoleon Hill taught that success accelerates only after persistence breaks resistance. Most people quit right before the compound effect kicks in. Momentum is invisible at first, it's the quiet result of hundreds of small, boring actions done without applause. But once it ignites, it makes ordinary people unstoppable. The hard part isn't starting, it's staying long enough for momentum to start working for you. Think of a plane taking off. The first minutes consume 70% of the fuel, it's pure resistance. But once it lifts, gravity loses power. That's how success feels: hard, heavy, hopeless, until it suddenly becomes effortless. Hill called this the turning point, when persistence meets faith. And faith, in his words, is the only known antidote for failure. To build momentum in 2025, focus on rhythm, not motivation. Post daily, learn daily, act daily. Momentum doesn't require inspiration, it requires motion. Even on bad days, do something. Because every micro-action keeps the engine warm. Once momentum builds, it's no longer you pushing success, it's success pulling you. And that's where the next transformation begins, the emotional mastery behind sustainable wealth. Napoleon Hill once wrote that emotions are the true currency of achievement. Money flows to those who remain calm when others panic. In 2025, emotional control is the new intelligence. Markets change, trends collapse, but those who master their state of mind never lose power. Your emotional economy determines your financial one. If you can't manage anger, fear, and doubt, you'll spend your energy before you ever earn your wealth. Most people live like emotional day traders, reacting to every comment, every failure, every delay. Millionaires, in contrast, act like long-term investors. They understand that emotions are signals, not commands. When fear rises, they observe it. When excitement comes, they channel it. Hill said, self-control is strength. Calmness is mastery. In the chaos economy, emotional neutrality is the ultimate advantage. To practice this, monitor your state the same way you track your finances. When stress spikes, breathe before you respond. When negativity shows up, switch your focus to gratitude. Emotional mastery doesn't mean suppressing feelings, it means directing them toward purpose. Because once you control your inner economy, the next evolution becomes natural, wealth consciousness, the mindset that attracts success effortlessly. Napoleon Hill said, riches begin with a state of mind. Wealth isn't something you chase, it's something you align with. People spend their lives trying to earn more, but the truly wealthy focus on becoming more. Wealth consciousness is the realization that abundance isn't external, it's a reflection of your identity. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you believe you are. Developing this consciousness begins with gratitude and vision. Gratitude keeps you rooted in abundance now, vision pulls you toward a greater future. Hill believed faith and imagination were twin engines of prosperity. When you think, feel, and act from abundance, even before results appear, you synchronize with the same frequency that wealth operates on. It stops being luck and becomes law. To live in wealth consciousness, eliminate thoughts of scarcity. Speak as if your success is unfolding, move as if your dream is inevitable. The subconscious doesn't argue, it obeys emotion and repetition. That's why millionaires appear lucky, their inner narrative is already rich. And once your mind fully believes it, your world adjusts accordingly. Because in truth, as Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. You now understand what separates dreamers from achievers. It's not timing, talent, or luck, it's thought direction. The mind is the original factory of wealth. Every business, invention, or empire began as a single organized thought. The question is, are your thoughts organized toward your goals, or toward your fears? Because the brain doesn't care what you think, only how often. Napoleon Hill once said, you either control your mind or it controls you, there is no halfway. Every day, your thoughts cast votes for the person you're becoming. Millionaires aren't born different, they simply cast more intentional votes. They build habits of focus, gratitude, and faith until success becomes inevitable. In the moment you commit to that same inner work, your life starts shifting from wishing to creating. So tell me, what belief will you rewrite today? Drop it in the comments. Let's see who's truly ready to rise above limitation and think at the level of greatness. If this message resonated with you, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and join this movement of conscious creators who are building wealth from the inside out. The mind is your greatest asset. Guard it, grow it, and use it to rewrite your destiny.